member of the information society? That's a difficult question because I didn't know we were in the information society.
What's up, everybody? It's your BD Goth boyfriend here with a very unique repair. I've never worked on an Intellivision in my life, but I want you to know this video is going to be a little bit different. I kind of want to talk about something. So when this was given to me, the first thing I thought of was, dear God, wood grain, this must be 70s, which I'm actually correct. This comes from 1979, I believe. But it got me thinking this. There's going to be a point where gamers, and as the generations come, that we're going to look at things and we're going to say, oh man, those games, obsolete. The console, obsolete. No point owning these. And I know someone's going to want this. And I know the person that's going to want this is someone who wants to capture, that essence of the 70s. However, as a market gets older and a generation gets older, the attachment for these things disappear. So for me, I could care less about anything Intellivision. I've seen graphics of these games. Dear God, they are awful. However, they are the genesis for truly what we have today. So it got me thinking even deeper. Is there going to be a point where when we look at something like an NES, which I actually think we're there, where we look at NES games and we say, yo, I don't want to play an NES console. Look at these games. They play, look at this thing. I'm sorry. This looks like a TV remote control. I don't know how people played with this back then, but I'm pretty sure they enjoyed Pong. Let me take this apart. All right, one thing I really love about old consoles is how they're pretty much plastic screws apart. Plastic screws apart. So as I was taking apart, I saw this. Ribbon cable is out. The person that gave this to me and told me it wasn't working, I am 100% positive this is the reason it's not working. Very easy to put in. However, I need to figure out why this has come undone. This piece of, I don't want to call it a piece of junk. Someone out there loves the Intellivision, but this piece of hardware, there has to be a reason that has popped out. So we're going to figure that out. You can see the solders that are here. It's giving you a heads up. Very difficult to take off from the motherboard. So I'm not going to be touching that. But I am going to inspect the rest of these wires that are here. One wire that I have to pull out, which is a very easy pull in case you're working on these, is the power supply right here. It's the little red kind of switch plug-in that you see right there. Not a switch, but more of a plug-in. All you gotta do is hold on to it firmly, pull it out. We're gonna give that a clean. All the other wires do look good though. And we're gonna take off the power switch, 2 screws, you're good. Nothing really difficult about this teardown thus far, and that makes me happy. So here's something that I want you guys to inspect in case you're ever going over these. Look at the bottom of this little board right here. If you see any burns on it, that's gonna be a bad sign. I saw this gooey stuff coming out, but it's not. It's actually just some hot glue that's coming out of it. So transistors are fine. Everything should be fine. Just make sure you inspect these things in case you see them. All right, that was a nice, easy teardown. I'm gonna take these massive piece of plastics, and these are going into a very nice hot wash, disinfect it. It is very, very gross. They need a scrubbing. They need a hard scrubbing. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. So for the controllers, very simple. Shop towels, simple green, elbow grease. Take your time when cleaning things. Don't want to break anything. Going back to the whole not relating to a console, I feel that's what's happening right now with the NES, but I also feel that's what's happening now with the Game Boy. People just feel it's so primitive, and the games aren't relating to people as much as you would see something like a GBA. You know, indie games today look like a GBA game when they're done well, and people can relate to that, but there will be some consoles in the next 20 years that will die out, including those people's collections. After a lot of inspection, this is very dirty and I need to clean it. So I usually show you how to do this with isopropyl alcohol, and then I show you how to mix the isopropyl alcohol with a Q-tip, but we're gonna add one more element to this, and that element is actually going to be a cartridge. So the cartridge is the perfect size for the slot, right? It's made to fit in tight, snug, everything like that. What you're gonna do is actually take this Q-tip, douse this thing, soak this thing. If you notice, it's already soaked. And you're gonna jam the cartridge in. You're gonna wheel around, pull it out, put it back in. Pull it out, pull it back in. What that is doing is actually taking off any rust at all whatsoever and cleaning the inside pins. All right, now it's nice and clean. Look at that, disinfected. One thing, when putting this back together, put in your power supply first. Why? Because this power cable right here has to go through there. Let's just say I learned this from trial and error. Back to X's little rant. When I think of older consoles, guys, they will go. And the reason why they disappear truly is because the group of people that want those consoles, they go away too. Like, think of the average person that's probably collecting for the Intellivision right now. This came out in the 70s, so they're probably in their 50s now? And they want this stuff, maybe 60s, and they want to have a collection. I don't know. It's just I see it hard to maintain in the future. A console or collecting for a console like this. Who is gonna want NES games? You know, you can port them onto the Switch, you can play them there. So why would someone want a physical version of an NES game come 15, 20 years from now? Let alone, okay, all TVs are HDMI, how do you play this? It becomes very niche. And when things become very niche and that group of collectors dies out, or that group of collectors lose interest, all these things become junk. So it makes me think of what are the next consoles to kind of go in that direction. And the one that I think of the most really is the NES. Talked about the Game Boy a bit. Games that don't get a lot of love on the Game Boy. Metroid 2 does not get a lot of love. When people think of Metroid, oh, yeah, I played Fusion. Yeah, I played Zero Missions. And I was like, I know, can you play Metroid 2? Oh, no, it's slow. I feel like I'm in a bubble. There's no map, and it makes me cry inside. Mole Mania is another game people don't want to touch, but everything happens for a reason, and everything changes for a reason. Putting the last touches on this repair right here, the little foil, it's actually really strong, which I'm impressed with. It's almost like a little piece of metal. Isn't sticking, so I'm just gonna, I know it's gonna sound cheap, but it's something you kind of have to do some time. Just put some super glue on it. I just want to talk to you guys and say I'm glad that you guys are enjoying these videos. Trying to get them out whenever I can. Feel good doing one a month so far. I know, not enough content, but I'm trying. There's some reviews that I have that I've filmed that are coming up soon, so very excited about that. And I just want to say thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking. I'm trying to make that push to 1,000. That was always been my goal when I did YouTube, even when I was like a young, 20-year-old teenager. I want to say teenager, doing YouTube. I just wanted to reach 1,000. I think that's a nice number enough for me. So spread the word, share, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Here we are. It is done. It is done. I wish I had an extra knob to fill in for that controller over there, but what a difference. Everything is nice and clean. Everything is working. Eventually I'll find that knob and it's very easy to put in. And Donkey Kong, you know what? You were okay. I hope the person who gets this really falls in love with this, really wants it, really uses it, and keeps this history alive. I think that is the reason for game restoration, preservation, is to keep history alive. I mean, we can't get to Ghost of Tsushima if we can't play Donkey Kong Country on Intellivision. Thanks, guys. Be safe.